Sean Strickland pretty much hates everybody, and I'm all for it. Strickland has just done a sit-down chat on his YouTube channel explaining the Sneeko drama, the Jake Paul call-out, him meeting Donald Trump, what he said to Machine Gun Kelly, and it's not only entertaining, but it gives us a good insight into who the real Sean Strickland is. In this video, he's a little bit more authentic. He's not as crazy as he is in his interviews and the press conferences. So let's sit back, enjoy, and break down the best bits of Sean's epic rant.
It's been a really fun 24 hours, you guys. I've met a lot of fun people the last couple days. Oh man, well this week started off with Donald Trump. Actually a really solid guy. I didn't know if I'd like Donald Trump, but really authentic. Yeah, it's really nice. You know, I think that I need to run a rally, Trump. Here's the thing, dude. I'm not saying that I voted for him in the primaries, but you know, if he gets a nominee, Trump 2024. But like, I feel like Trump's people are my people, you know, like I love the people. What I like about Trump though, there's no boogeyman. You know, there's no like at his rallies, it's America first. There's no black versus white. There's no like, there's none of that. It's just like all he says is we're Americans. And that's something I really found refreshing, because you go with Biden and like Biden, every time Biden talks, it's like black versus white. It's this versus that. It's like, it's just nice to be reminded that we're all Americans.
We don't really get into politics here on this channel, but I can respect what Sean Strickland said here, especially because it was only 4 or 5 years ago. If you would come out and say that you liked Trump, people would call you racist, a bigot, you're homophobic, all of the above. Whereas it seems like now every video I come across of Trump, a lot of people have 180'd their opinions on him. Maybe it's because of how bad Biden is, and you don't realise what you've got until you've lost it. But I like seeing Trump get all this positive attention. And I'm glad that Sean Strickland has also got the I don't give a F attitude to also be able to say that. Next, he talks about how he met Sneeko and how they come to arrange that spar.
So I don't really know much about Sneeko. I know that I actually don't know who he is. Yeah, I don't know who he is, but he's a nice enough guy. I don't know why he wanted to box me, but he's a nice enough guy. But yeah, no, I don't really know much about the guy, but he's a nice enough guy. I know that he lets men partake on his woman, or he has, and I hope he stopped that, and I hope that I've helped him see the light with that.
And so I saw her, I've seen her other men, and it's just like that.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I just try to do the Lord's work. I try to be a mentor to the kids. So I'll tell you what happened. Pearl, my homie Pearl, you guys all know Pearl. Love her, hate her, she's a homie of mine, just is what it is. I did a podcast with her, and the footage got corrupt, got lost, and I felt so bad, like it's gone. I felt so bad that it didn't get shown, that she asked me if I would do a podcast with Sneeko. And I was like, I'm not doing a podcast with Sneeko. I hate influencers, you know that. Like, you know this. So I said, but if you want, I will spar him if he wants. And she's like, I'll ask him, that'd be great. So it was really just a favor for her to spar him. That was all it was.
Well, that was very kind of Sean to do that for Sneeko. When you think about it, the man has basically said, look, I'm sorry, Pearl, I won't do a podcast with Sneeko, but I'll happily beat him to a pulp and try and knock him out. I'm willing to do that much. So I originally thought that it was Sneeko who wanted the spar, but now we know that Sneeko originally wanted to do the podcast, and Sean Strickland was like, nah, but I'll batter you instead. Oh, Sneeko better keep this fighting thing up now, especially after getting battered by Sean Strickland. You have to. You don't have to become the next Jake Paul, but just please keep up the fighting. It'll do you the world of good.
The thing about like sparring, I am not a good man. I tell you guys all the time, I make mistakes. I do things I shouldn't do. I'm not a good man. I like to hurt people. We all know this. Like, I've never hid this fact. So when you spar me, you need to understand that hurting you, but it's also respect. Like for instance, Cowboy Cerrone. I love Cowboy. Me and Cowboy could spar, and I'm not going to try to murder Cowboy. I'm not going to try to Cowboy up, because he's earned my respect. He's a legend. He's put in work. I mean, we've all seen his highlight knockouts. He's earned his right not to get hurt. And when you spar like these guys that want to spar, there is no respect. You haven't earned it. You haven't proved yourself. You don't deserve not to get hurt. Yeah, no, if Forrest didn't jump in, I would have took your life if I could have.
That's crazy that he just admitted that if Forrest Griffin didn't step in, he probably would have took Sneeko's life, or at least tried to. And maybe he's being hyperbolic. He's over-exaggerating. But we know that he thinks like this, and it didn't look like there was any sign of Sean Strickland stopping unless Forrest Griffin stepped in. He's just said he wanted to take his life. Crazy, Sean, crazy. And then he said, why would I respect you if you haven't done anything which deserves respect? Which I 100% agree with. But then when you're an MMA champion, absolutely absolutely battering a novice who's only done a little bit of light sparring here and there. Did the poor lad deserve that? And of course, Sneeko knew what he was getting himself into. He knew it. I'm just trying to play both sides here, being devil's advocate. I guess it's just the first time that I've heard someone use that logic as to why they should try and KO a beginner, influencer or non-influencer. But it's Sean Strickland. We expected nothing less.
Yeah, and then after Sneeko, and again, I don't mind Sneeko. He, after the fact, he took his beating like a man. Like,
fall down, Sneeko. You just fall down. Let's go grappling. Take shots, man.
He was sincere about it. You know, I think he said, why did you throw in the towel? Why'd you stop it? Like, I kind of respect that. Part of me respects him for, I think he would have died there. I really think that he would have stood there and let me beat him to death. And there is a part of me that, like, I respect him for that. So, you know, to his credit, he didn't die.
Sneeko probably would have stood there and let Sean Strickland beat him to death, but that was probably due to him being mildly concussed from taking a bunch of left hands to the face over and over again. I don't think Sneeko really knew where he was for a good 10-20 seconds of that spar, but regardless, it's good to see that Sean actually respects Sneeko, because we all knew that he had a little bit of a disdain for Sneeko after the first time he met him, after finding out what Sneeko was doing, the stuff he said online, the fact he's let other men tap his girlfriend.
Later, I was invited to a power slap, you know. Met some good people. Cowboy was there. I met a vampire. Yeah, apparently. Guy's dating Megan Fox. He has some Transformers, you know, with a broken down car. I don't know what happened to Megan Fox, dude, but something happened to Megan Fox, you guys. I don't know who did it, but I want to find that man. I want to have a conversation with him, because me and you, dude, we're not cool. Yeah, so I meet this vampire. You look like the goth kid on South Park, and you go out in the world like this. Like, this only happens because you are in an insulated bubble. You guys don't understand. These people at these slap fights, they're not people, man. They're influencers. They're like, I interact with hundreds of people. I go snowboarding. No fan ever has anything bad to say about me, because I love you guys. But these people are not you guys. They are like, I can't explain it until you interact with these people and you're around them. It's like they have this weird God complex, and it's just like when I'm around them, I just want to hurt them all and to remind them, you are just a human being. Shut the up.
I like what Sean's saying here, because what he's describing is just Hollywood in general. They're all up their own asses. They all think that they're better than everyone else. I used to like Machine Gun Kelly, especially all the videos he done during lockdowns. But recently, he's just went dead weird.
Fast forward, I go and I meet the vampire. Dingo introduces me to the vampire. And, you know, I make fun of him. I'm just like, dude, what are you wearing? Like, what the is going on here? Like, how are you doing this? And he looked at me and, like, he didn't laugh, he didn't giggle, but he looked at me like, why is this guy, like, with no respect talking to me like this? He looked at me like I was less than human. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna humble you right now. And then my girl kind of got in the way, and then I was like, well, we'll chill out. And then I was escorted out. But these people, you guys, they're not like me and you. They're not the guys you see at the shopping store. They're not the guy getting gas. Like, they have this weird God complex. And I had no idea who the vampire was.
Remember all the times Ricky Gervais done the Golden Globes? And the last time he done it, he really went in on all of Hollywood. And he called them out for pretty much the exact same thing that Sean Strickland's saying here. You all think that they're untouchable, and they live in their own little isolated bubbles, yet none of them are perfect. They're all druggies, alcoholics, got no sense of identity, but they've just got a good few million in the bank. Doesn't make them better than the regular person.
Like, Megan Fox, what happened to you? You were the hot chick in the broken down car. I just want the world. Guys, I just want the world to go back to how it was. Megan Fox is hot. My world is being shattered, dude. I've watched Transformers just like all you f***ers. I've watched it just like you guys. And then I found out that the girl that I used to you as a child is no longer her. She is with a vampire drinking each other's blood.
Here's Shaun Jones' blueprint to getting a decent beard. Be tall, be good looking, in that order. Now, if you haven't got one of those things, or even more, unfortunately, you've got none of those things, then become a decent fighter, get strong and athletic, become a really competent individual, build a network and be close to higher level men, earn more money. If you do those things, you'll probably get a decent beard. Even if she's a 5 in the face, but a 9 or 10 in the body, that'll keep you happy. I don't care for birds who are like a 10 in the face looking like a supermodel, but then they got an ass like an ironing board. I'm not objectifying women. talking about my preferences. Women can have preferences. Lads can also, believe it or not. Where was it going with that? I don't know. But there's a little bit of life advice to you. Actually, I'm going to start a new YouTube channel soon, which is going to be more so a self-development YouTube channel. So look out for that.
And this is a phenomenon that I'm realizing about influencers, because I've always wondered, like, how do these people, they're stupid. They act stupid, they dress stupid. They're not funny. They don't say funny things.
Can I get a shoe, papi muñeño?
I don't know who the f you are, but in a different setting, I might hit you.
They're just normal guys that dress like idiots and talk stupid. And I realized they're so famous and they make so much money because me and you aren't their target audience. Their target audience are children. So this is why you can be a 25, 26, 27-year-old man dress like a child and make a ton of money on TikTok, because you are pretty much a 26-year-old version man acting like a junior high kid. It's a very strange world. Very strange, you guys. You guys influencers are leeches.
The thing is the younger audience is the future, obviously. But if you're real and authentic, the younger audience will be drawn to you anyway, especially young lads. They're lacking the male role models these days. There's a little bit of a void in the space, and that's why the young audience will gravitate towards outspoken people like Sean Strickland, like Andrew Tate, people who are very vocal about their opinions and who aren't afraid to speak their mind. Whether you agree with them or not, just because you disagree with them does not mean that there isn't another 100 people out there who agree with them and they're just not vocal about it. The youth is the future, but it does not mean you have to compromise your character in order to appeal to them.
It's very hard to be a good man. It's very difficult to be a good man. You know, it's very hard not to like the girl's photo. It's very difficult not to say untruths. It's very difficult not to lie. These are all things that as a man, you shouldn't do, but we all do it. It's impossible to be a good man. As Dana said, I shouldn't be around humans.
Sean Strickland tweeted that there may have been something between him and Machine Gun Kelly. Can you talk to me about what happened there?
You can't bring Sean Strickland around any other human beings. It's like...
So Jake Paul offered me $1 million, knowing that it is impossible for me to do that. And I actually talked to Hunter, and I was like, Hunter, I will fight this man. You let Conor McGregor fight Mayweather. This is an easier fight, easier money. Can I do that? And then Hunter explained to me. Hunter is like the left hand or right hand of Dana. They're equal. I don't know what they would be, but they're damn close. And Hunter explained to me that he sells no fights. That when they have fights, they give away tickets, that he doesn't make money, that his target audience is children, they don't buy pay-per-views. So, a little depressing, because I thought to myself, you know what, I'll take a payday beating up this man, that sounds easy enough. But sadly, Jake Paul is an influencer. He sells to children. Children don't buy pay-per-view, so I don't know, man. Get some adults to follow you, and then we will fight.
So the Jake Paul call out. That is one thing that I don't like that Jake Paul does, is he calls out people knowing very well that they're in a contract already. He knows that Sean Strickland could not accept that fight. The UFC won't let him do it. But I like that Sean brought up that Jake Paul doesn't sell any fights. His pay-per-view numbers are low. Outside of boxing, other influencers or other MMA fighters, Jake Paul needs a bit of spectacle behind his fight in order to sell to his audience. That's why his last fight was on DAZN in front of a small crowd.
So here's the thing, Jake Paul. You clearly know I can't fight you. We know this. The UFC knows this. We all know this, that me and you cannot fight. But what we can do, you can get in your fancy plane, you can fly your ass to Vegas, and we could have a little powwow. Because you know as well as I know what happens to that. I'll do it for free. I don't need a check. I don't need to live stream it. I will do it for free, sir. So if that is something you want to show everybody how big and hard that is, let me know when. And Jake Paul, I got knocked out by a world champion kickboxer, a 2-time UFC champion. You got beat by a part-time boxer. You try to use to pad your record. You're embarrassment to yourself, you're embarrassment to me, and you're embarrassment to the world. Enjoy.
Anyone who thinks Jake Paul would win in a fight against Sean Strickland, even in boxing, I think is a little bit delusional. Sean Strickland is so much more experienced than Jake Paul, and he's not one of these 40-odd-year-old retired MMA fighters. And he put this video on his Instagram. Let's look at some of the comments. Nina, the girl who interviews him all the time, said this: "We the people nominate Sean Strickland as the UFC fighter to avenge the losses of all prior retired MMA fighters who have fallen victim to Jake Paul's shenanigans." I agree, and I'm going to like that comment. Someone said, "Mate, you've sold out." Shut up. No, he hasn't. He literally said that he would fight Jake Paul for free, exactly like he done with Sneeko. Sean is the prime example of a real man. All right, mate, calm down. It's not impossible, Sean. Just fly out there and fight him in his gym and take home $1 million. Or you can do exactly what he asked, but in your gym for no money. You think Sean needs Jake Paul? Sean doesn't even care about money, from what he says in interviews. So why should Sean go out of his way to fight Jake Paul. Jake Paul's not bringing in any numbers at the moment. Bro, your main concern should be getting your belt back. You just lost your first title defense. Get focused. Shaun has said multiple times he doesn't care about the belt. It's BS. All he wants to do is fight. He's not bothered about it. One final thing, we also had Andrew Tate chime in on what he thought about the Sneeko and Sean Strickland spar. And we know that Sean Strickland does not like Andrew Tate. He's been very outspoken about him. So here's what Tate said.
Jacosta says, shout out to Sneeko getting in the ring with MMA champions. Wish you could have been here in Romania with you guys. Nonetheless, good to see legends reunite in the studio to compete with Myron's speech.
Yeah, I saw that clip. That was crazy. I don't know.
Thoughts on Sneeko?
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, Sneeko took the licks, but what was his name? Sean. Sean was trying to hurt him.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Weird. So Tate had nothing to say really, apart from, yeah, it was a bit weird. You could tell that he wanted to say more than what he actually said. Tate will have seen clips of Sean Strickland talking about him, but I don't think Tate wants to get into a back and forth with Sean Strickland. My speculation is just that Andrew Tate probably knows that Sean doesn't give a F and would go on an absolute rampage against Tate. And he knows that Sean Strickland's fans are extremely loyal. I actually believe there's a lot of fan crossover between Andrew Tate and Sean Strickland. Anyway, regardless, what you guys think of this, what you think of everything that Sean Strickland said, what you think about what Andrew Tate said, comment your thoughts down below. Make sure you like this video, and I'll see you all tomorrow.